left corner is gonna say, okay, we're live.
What's up, gang? We're live hanging out with our friend over here, Carlos. This is William and
Veronica real estate team again.
We keep on doing these videos to get some information out there, especially during these times. A lot of people have questions, and we try to get people that are rocking it in their field just to get some good info, like I said, out there to everybody that has some questions. So we're hanging out with Carlos Garcia. He's a small and medium business consultant with Paychex. He's been working there for over 5 years. I mean, this guy does it all over there, from payroll, from human services, resource services, and employee benefits. He's an asset to the company. He's rocking it over there. This guy's tapped in with small and medium-sized businesses. And it's the reason why we're excited to have him here. Before we dive into it, Carlos, we always like to give you the chance just to tell us a little bit about you and Paychex. So take it away.
Yeah, no worries. And so, yeah, I've been with Paychex for a little over 5 years. And it's been awesome, to say the least. I'm pretty fortunate to be working with the organization that gives me access to a lot of the tools and resources to be able to help the small business owner out there. Little background about myself. I mean, prior to Paychex, I used to be an insurance agent a little bit, and also as a financial advisor for a couple of years as well. So I kind of have a little bit of that background as far as insurance and financial services mentality. But with Paychex coming in, Paychex is #1 in small business. I mean, we do payrolls for about 670,000 small businesses all over the country. We have 100 offices all over the country. Plugged out of the office in North Reading, but we have offices everywhere, right? Where it's funny, there's a statistic that they say that 1 in 12 people receive a check from Paychex, which is crazy. So it's kind of cool to see that the CEO of our company, Marty Musi, is being interviewed on Squawk Box and on CNBC, and he's constantly being interviewed about, the job index, what industries are hiring right now, how's unemployment rates, because of course we have all this data from, all the people that we're doing payroll for. We have access to all that stuff, which is pretty cool. But not only that, I mean, even though Paychex is a major player in the payroll world, we're also a major player in the HR world. Now, I know that's very vague, and that's a very big umbrella term, but HR, as far as like, handbooks, policies for your employees, as far as how to ask the right interviewing questions, how to properly lay somebody off, or how to even make sure they collect unemployment properly, which that's a big issue right now. So working with business owners, I work anywhere from 1 employee up to 100 employees in the business. After 100 employees, considered a large business, and that's a whole different conversation. Different tax laws. So in reality, what I provide is a toolbox for the small business owner, which consists of about 70 products and services to help them out. Where we offer anything from in my BNI group in East Boston, I say it all the time, we do everything from hire to retire, all through payroll, And really what I mean by that is anywhere from, the interviewing process of the employee all the way through unemployment and retirement, like 401k, which that's another big service that we do with Paychex. We're not advisors, but we do 401k record keeping.
That's great.
So which is pretty cool. So now in today's current day and time, with this whole COVID situation, man, I've been busy. It's been pretty busy, but in a good way, and I feel really fortunate to be in this position where I have access to all this information and really help out the small business, and I'm learning just as we all are. I mean, we're all learning together in this situation. It's something that we've never been into before, working out of my house, all of us working out of our homes, right? I'm used to, showing up at a business somewhere, somewhere in East Boston or in Riviera, Everett, right? Meeting the business owner, meeting some of their employees, getting a feel of what they're doing, taking a deep dive in their business to see how I can help, simplify their processes and help everything out, right? Now it's just, chatting it through camera, right? Yeah, and so, but in today's day, I mean, unemployment is a big thing. Business owners that are paying themselves on payroll, how can they collect unemployment if they really want to go that route? Or the PPP loan, which is huge. The government did pass a stimulus on that. And we're getting information day by day when that comes in, the Paycheck Protection Program, which is awesome. So, and I have access to information on that.
Oh, sorry. Sorry to interrupt you, Carlos. And we want to jump into a lot of those things that you just mentioned. So thank you for that, for giving us the overview of what you do. And in our personal experience, we started with Paychex this year, and it has been amazing, an amazing experience with you guys, just helping us with our business to be more organized too. So the first thing I want to kind of talk about, and you mentioned, is unemployment, right? So we were reading the last week, 17 million Americans filed for unemployment, which is a very scary number. We were at 3.6% last year, and now we're like extremely higher than what it was last year. So we even, we were about to hire a new person to join our team before this all happened, a new administrator. And we had to pause on that because, it was going to be uncertain. We had to rearrange working from home and doing all of this. So it affected us in some way. So in your opinion, Carlos, what advice would you give a small business owner on getting relief or getting by during these times?
Yeah, the number one thing is pretty much just to, obviously, you gotta look at your budgets. You gotta look at what's going on, right? There's a ton of money that's out there that the government has passed. Take advantage of all that stuff because that will really help. Really want to divert back to the PPP loan. Go to your bank, work with your banker, have them, help you out fill the application, because it is money that helps out for the business. I come in on my end to send the payroll reports, right, to the banker so they can complete the application. But what's nice is that it's loan where the business owner can use this money to keep their employees on payroll and still pay them as they're not working during this time. And, hopefully in a couple months when things come back to normal, if you can show proof that loan that you use to pay your employees, it can be forgiven, which is nice. I know there are some industries that are shrinking. A lot of industries are shrinking right now, especially our restaurant friends. They're hit really hard, but then there are other industries that are thriving. I have clients that I'm working with that do e-commerce. I mean, they're going crazy right now as far as like sales and stuff like that, logistics, truckers, I see a grow with them as well as far as like shipping and stuff like that, So as far as from a business owner's perspective, number one is take advantage of all the help that's available. Number two, connect with your accountant and CPA. That's also very important because they're kind of like your business coach for the most part, right? Okay. And part of my job too is that I'm very well connected with the accounting community and giving them the resources they need to help our business friends out. You know what I mean? And then from there, their CPA or accountant, they can give them direction on where to go from there.
Yeah, great advice. So connect with your CPA and know your numbers, go through it, right? And, and learn about all the tools that are available to the small business owner out there. Great advice. So you talked about, there's companies shrinking out there, right? Of course, people are going to be, especially in the restaurant business, a lot of local businesses, they're going to be faced with either I'm going to have to lay off people that for whatever reason, they don't qualify for the PPP loan, let's say, or I'm going to have to shut down my operation altogether. Is there a right way to actually lay people off or a wrong way, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's part of my services, which is the HR aspect, how to properly lay this employee off, whether it's through paying them vacation time, sick time, holiday time, or just fully just lay them off, entirely. But, I talk to 25 business owners a day, and it's so hard to get good quality people to work for you or work with you in your business, The last thing you want to do is just lay them off. And then, in 2-3 months, they went elsewhere. They went work to some other company or something like that, and you can't bring them back, right? Part of my payroll services, we do offer unemployment administration, which really helps out, meaning if I work for you guys, right, and all of a sudden, obviously I'm not working anymore, I go to the unemployment office, I fill out the unemployment claim. As the owners, you guys are going to get the letters from the unemployment office saying, okay, we noticed that Carlos is applying for unemployment against your business. When did he start work? When did he finish? It's like 7 or 8, 9 pages, right? What was disciplinary action, all that stuff. The state doesn't say it in their letters, but if those forms are not filled in 14 days, I automatically win the unemployment claim. That's just how the state works, So it's in favor of the employee. Kind of like a landlord, you can't kick a tenant out in the wintertime, right? Or something of that nature, right? Kind of the same thing. The state really helps out for the employees that are less favored. But So what we do from an unemployment administration is that when the employee files an employment with files a claim with an employment office, the letters go to Paychex directly, and then you guys get your copies too. And we do the unemployment administration on your behalf, which is very important. And then from there, you know, the former employee deserves a claim or not, because I see this happen a lot. I have a client of mine, she runs a 20-employee flower shop. She has 2 locations, right? She called me the other day, she goes, hey, Carlos, I got a claim from a guy who last time he worked for me was last summer, and he's filing unemployment for my company here.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like, she's like, what do I do? I'm like, no worries. I got my colleagues in my office that can help you out, you know, fill this out for you. Because if she would have let those letters to go by, which as business owners, we're running like crazy. We're going in all different directions. You know, sometimes we could miss those letters, right? So we were able to handle that and reject that claim so that she doesn't have to pay the unemployment taxes. Because as an employer, you pay unemployment taxes, federal and state. And how the state unemployment taxes work is that in December of each year, the business owner gets a letter from the DUA saying what's their new unemployment rate for the following year. If there's been no unemployment claims against their business, that unemployment tax goes down from 2.49 to 1.8, 1.7. And that tax is on top of the size of your entire payroll for the business.
Wow.
We're talking hundreds of dollars here, you know, maybe thousands, depending on what's your size of your business, right? If there has been claims, then yes, then the claim, you know, the unemployment tax goes up 7, 8, 9, you know, 10%. And that's not uncommon. I work a lot with seasonal people, landscapers, masonry, contractors. A lot of these guys, you know, they work from March through November, and then they file unemployment, you know, which is okay to do too. So just take it on a case-by-case basis if that's something that you really need to do and collect unemployment, you know.
Got it. That's very useful.
Yeah.
You know, just
Team up with Paychex. That's what I got.
That's what I was gonna say. Just team up with the right person, and like you say, you provide all the tools for the employee to, you know, use the right way and reach out to the right people. So that's great. You mentioned earlier that you can help people file unemployment the right way. You know, let's talk about the other side, the person who's unemployed, who got laid off. What's the correct way to file unemployment?
So the best thing to do is contact the DUA directly, but they're obviously slammed right now. I mean, the thousands and tens of thousands of claims that's coming in. Now you can even call the office right now. You have to fill a form online, and you have to wait for the DUA to call you so they can help you process the unemployment claims correctly from an employee, you know, standpoint, right? And I guess the best thing I can say is just be patient. I know it's a really tough time. I know some people need these claims to be processed so they can cover their bills. Totally get it. Hopefully that stimulus check will also help as well. But the right way to do it is pretty much contact the DUA directly. I think it's like mass.gov/DUA or something like that, right?
Okay.
And just really, you know, reach out to them directly and have them walk you through the application process.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can share the link at the end of the video, so where they can go and apply for that.
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, and I have access to both links, the employee side and then the employer side too.
Okay, awesome, great.
Awesome. There's some information. There's like websites and stuff like that from the city.
So yeah, we'll link all the information onto the description here. So we're talking about unemployment. We're talking about PPP loans, right way to lay somebody off, Paychex itself. What else are you hearing out there, Carlos? What are people reaching out? I mean, you talk to business owners out there, 25 minimum a day, right? So what are you hearing out there?
Yeah, that for the most part, you know, as far as like laying employees off and how to properly pay them. One other thing too is that other self-employed individuals that are getting paid under a 1099, you know, or either getting paid cash, they want to collect unemployment, right? I've had some conversations with some self-employed individuals like Uber drivers, agents like yourselves, loan officers, you know, all these types of professionals. Unfortunately, you can't collect unemployment because you never put yourself on payroll. So there's a way where it can actually work in your favor where, again, you got to reach out to your CPA or accountant directly so they can show you hard numbers. And then I come in on the back end where basically you can incorporate yourself, you know, being taxed as an S Corp, and as the owner or as the self-employed individual, put yourself on payroll. And there's a benefit to that because the earnings that you receive for your profession, you know, you cover your expenses first, and whatever's left over, now you decide what's your salary, right? And then now, you know, after a given number of time, if something like this does happen again, that could put you in a good position to collect unemployment if that's the route you want to take. But the good thing is that all those payroll taxes that you've paid yourself under, you can kind of offset that and save yourself 15.3% on the taxes on the distribution. No, it's a lot. Come tax season, in other words, now you get a W-2, you get a potential income tax refund that way, but then the company payroll tax that you paid under your S Corp could be written off as an expense and as a distribution, which is pretty cool. So I'm having some of those conversations with some of the self-employed individuals that, now I'm having that payroll conversation and the S Corp conversation with them. Still, again, I tell them to go back to their CPA to run hard figures to see if it makes sense, because there is a certain threshold that you have to meet, as far as expenses and fees and filing fees and all that stuff, as opposed to just, flat out just, creating the S Corp and putting yourself on payroll. So those are some of the things I'm talking about with them.
Very cool.
Got it. Okay. And this is, applies to us. We went through this with you. So it does make sense. And like I say, reach out to Carlos if anybody's thinking, self-employed, thinking about doing something like this. Awesome. So PPP loan. Let's talk about a little bit more about that. Share with us, what it is. What is it about? Who qualifies for it, and what kind of benefit or relief it provides? Yeah.
So I know. So they opened the gates last Friday. They opened the application process last Friday for the PPP loan. For the most part, you have to go through an SBA approved bank, which stands for Small Business Association. There's a lot of banks out there, so check with your bank if they're SBA approved. For the most part, those are the ones that you can really fill out the application with. And I believe it's on a first come, first served basis. So there's a pool of money out there where it's accessible to, the small business owner. That's anywhere from the self-employed individual up to, many employees. And I believe there's a second round of funding coming in. As we speak, I mean, it's just, it's crazy as far as the applications are coming in, so for the most part, that's it. That's the PPP loan. It's to help, stimulate the economy and ensure that people are still on the books and getting payroll as opposed to collecting unemployment.
Okay, so this protects their payroll, their salary, right?
Their salary, yeah. So if I have, 10 employees on payroll, I can't afford to pay these people because my business is shut down. Rather than them go and collect unemployment, I receive the loan money, and I use this money, whether it's 500,000, 100,000, whatever the number is, I can use that to still process payroll and pay my employees with that money.
Okay, got
still
it.
Keep them on the books.
Okay, and what's the payback? It's a loan, so how much? What's the interest rate, or how much you have? When do you have to pay the loan back? How does that work?
Yeah, that's more set with your bank. So I believe you talk with your banker directly. I don't know the logistics on that. I just know the the bigger scheme of things. But I know for the most part, as long as you can show proof that you use this loan to pay back your employees through payroll, it can be forgiven. Okay. Just make sure that you still keep your payroll active with your payroll company. Make sure you're still processing payroll through that money. Still have all your bank statements and everything. But as far as logistics like that, is how to show proof and stuff like that. Again, I'd still refer to connect back to your CPA.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Carlos, anything else you want to share with us?
I mean, there can be more, but I think for the most part, I kind of covered, pretty much everything that's been happening right now. Really want to thank you guys for inviting me on this. And
we can't let you go just yet. We have our last favorite question, which is, once this is all behind us, Carlos, where is the first place you're gonna go?
Jesus, I gotta get back to salsa dancing, man. I love salsa dancing.
Oh, where you headed?
There's a good place I go in Cambridge called Havana Club. I'm sure lots of us, in the salsa community have heard of it. Yeah, it's been a while. So
dance a little bit.
Yeah, dance a little bit and stuff. So it'll be great. So looking forward to it. So
love it.
Awesome.
Paychex and Havana Club. Sounds like
that's right. So there's a special offer, right? Sign up for payroll and you get a free 1 hour salsa dance lesson done by me.
Oh, look at that. Hey, we didn't get ourselves a lesson.
Nice. Carlos, thanks for hanging out with us. You dropped a lot of good information. We're going to link your information in the comments here, and hopefully people reach out. They should. Thanks for all your help, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Stay safe out there, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya. Take care.